What's cracking, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Alexis Custom Collectibles. So in this episode today we will customize the second version of the Superman figure from the movie Batman vs Superman. This figure is from the Fondjoy Batman vs Superman set, which included the battle damaged armor version of Batman, which you saw in the last video. This version of the Superman figure was inspired by the very first Justice League movie. I hated the movie a lot, but the suit looked really cool. I really love the design of the figure. The suit looks very movie accurate. I also love the proportions on this one, and I think, in my opinion, it looks a lot better than the McFarlane version, which I also had, and to be honest, it was trash. While playing around with the figure, I noticed the arm pops off very easily. So I have to fix that. In order to make it fit better, I had to cut out this little plastic piece which was on the ball joint. So after removing this piece of plastic, the arm sits very good in the socket and it moves easily. While the first version was inspired by the first Justice League movie, this one is going to be inspired by the Batman vs Superman movie because I love this suit a lot more. On the first step, I'm gonna shade around the muscles with a darker color. In this case, it's gonna be a darker blue. The first figure worked very well without priming. Therefore, I'm not gonna prime this one. So, I guess, let's get to work. Let's start with the custom. Because I didn't want it to use just black again to shade around the muscles, I decided to create a darker blue by mixing black and this navy blue together to achieve the color I want. I will also mix in a little bit of airbrush thinner to make the color flow better. This time I'm gonna work with the airbrush and shade around the muscles with this color. Make sure to protect yourself and always wear a mask while you're using the airbrush. So let's start with the shading. To achieve a realistic look, I shaded every muscle on his body, also on his backside. While shading the figure, I noticed some drops of color on his face, so I decided to take the figure apart again and cover up his neck and also his cape. Because I did every muscle properly, the shading took a while. On this version, I also decided to shade his boots. In order to do this, I took the same black and blue mixture of color and applied it slightly on his boots. Because I thought the shading wasn't dark enough, I decided to use a little bit black on top. So I went in with the airbrush with just a little bit of black in the darkest spots. Now after painting with the airbrush, next step is to clean the goddamn airbrush. And this takes always a lot of time, so have fun with it. Oh, this is so much fun. Okay, I think we saw enough footage of cleaning the airbrush, so let's keep on going with the painting, guys. Now here's the figure after shading. I like the dark look a lot. Unfortunately, I painted a little bit color on the inside of the cape, but that is not a problem because you won't see it from the other side. I already checked. So the next step will be mixing those three colors together to get a metallic blue shade. Therefore, I used some gunmetal, some navy blue, and I think it was a blue wash from Citadel. By the way, all colors I used were from Vallejo or Citadel. With this metallic blue, I will shade all of the muscles, all of the highlights on his suit to make it look metallic, like in the picture I showed you before. This step took a lot of time because I really took my time with painting the muscles properly. I really enjoyed this process because it brings the suit to life. This makes it look so much more realistic than it was before. Of course, I had to shade all of his muscles, the legs, the arms, the six-pack, the chest, everything, also the backside of the figure. While I am painting, let's talk a little bit about Batman vs Superman. Personally, I love this movie. It's my second favorite movie from this universe. Of course, after Man of Steel. And third place goes to Justice League Snyder Cut. I know this movie has a lot of flaws, but let me tell you something. There are so many scenes in this movie that I really enjoyed. For example, the car chase or the moment Batman fought this guys in this warehouse. It was amazing. But even I have to admit that I hate the choice for Lex Luthor and Doomsday at the end of this movie. It was unnecessary. So even though with all these flaws in the movie, I think I rewatched the extended cut, well, about 5 to 6 times till today, and I know already that I'm gonna rewatch it a lot of times more. But enough of this, let's continue the painting process. After finishing the highlights, I had to clean up some paint mistakes, which I did, because some paint went on the neck, so I had to remove this. Okay, so here's the painted body. I really like the highlights and also the shading. I think the suit looks very realistic to the picture I chose. Okay, so let's compare those two versions together. While comparing those, I noticed the suit wasn't dark enough, so I went back and forth to darken it up. Because the paint is still too bright in my opinion, I decided to go with this Citadel contrast paint over the body to darken the color up. To make the silver color pop through the suit, like in the reference pictures, I decided to wipe off a little bit of this color. I repeated this process till I was satisfied, again and again. After finishing, I let the color dry for an hour. And here's the comparison between those two versions. Version 1, Justice League first movie, version 2, Batman vs Superman movie. Now that I was satisfied with the results, I had to seal my work, so in order to do this, I used this Liquitex satin finish. So now that we are finished, it's time for a comparison and a final reveal. I really enjoyed working on this project. This is my favorite Superman figure till date. Let's take a look at some photos I took of the figure. So guys, thank you very much for watching and I hope you really enjoyed the video. I have already planned some new videos, so stay tuned and feel free to subscribe to my channel.